Have you ever wondered how an all-manual lens performs on your autofocus camera? More specifically, the Rokinon 35mm T1.4. I believe it's the T1.4. I forgot what the T stands for, but just bear with me. The very first thing I notice is how heavy this lens is. This is a beast of a lens, you know. This lens will set you back about $350 USD, all right? At the time of recording this video, again, it's $350. You might find it cheaper, but that's a decent price. The second thing I notice is in order to change your aperture, you have to rotate the back of the lens to your desired result or setting. So yeah, when you're trying to change the aperture, you have to take your hand and rotate, I guess, the ring onto the desired aperture, all right? Now, remember that this lens is heavily focused on manual adjustments, not autofocus like some of the more modern lenses, so keep that in mind. The focus throw is pretty smooth and it will take some time getting your shot correct while using this lens. So it'll take some time for you to even get used to this. Just understand it's gonna take some time. And this is not a lens that you're going to go out in the world and just use it like in a setting of like a wedding, unless you've already got all your shots and you're just playing with it. No, I wouldn't even recommend that. More specifically, this is when you are freelancing or doing something specific where it doesn't require you for a special event or a time. You know what, scratch that. This is just a lens that you're using in low light settings, or if you want that bokeh, and however you utilize this lens, it's not gonna be in a setting like a wedding or anything fast paced. So keep that in mind. Again, the focus throw is pretty smooth and it will take some time getting your shot correct while using this lens. Now, if you're wondering why would you purchase a lens like this instead of an autofocus lens, then the only thing I can say to that is perhaps your pockets aren't as deep, or your pockets are not as deep, but you want a lens that will perform in lower light scenes or settings with large aperture numbers or small, you know. Basically, you want a lens that performs well in low light, and you want a lens that can give you that bokeh that you're looking for at a decent price. You know, if you go out there and spend X amount of dollars, you know, if you want those nice, big, bulky lenses, those primes or those zooms with the great apertures, you're gonna have to pay for that. I'm not saying $350 is not expensive to some of y'all budgets, but you gotta understand that this is more affordable than some of those other lenses. Now, if you're wondering why you would purchase a lens like this instead of an autofocus lens, then the only thing I can say is that, is perhaps your pockets aren't as deep, but you want a lens that will perform in low light scenes or settings with large aperture numbers. If that's not the case, then go ahead and go spend your big money on whatever your heart desires. And this video is not for you, unless you're just looking for those manual lenses again. I'm here to provide some information and alternatives for the person who wants to explore their personal options. This lens is geared more towards filmmakers, but can be utilized for photography as well. The videos I want to go over again and say that this lens is not an autofocus lens, okay? This is a manual lens that you have to use when you slap it on your camera. Again, we both know it's heavy and durable. It probably can take a few bangs. I wouldn't trust it. I know it's strong, so I would imagine that if you're wearing this, if you put this lens on your camera body, it's probably gonna, no, it's not no probably, it's going to weigh down heavy on your neck. So the maximum aperture of this lens is 1.4, as I said earlier, and it goes all the way down to 22. I haven't personally fully utilized this lens, but I have played with it a couple of times to see what it's like to have it on the camera, just to get a feel for it, you know. I have went out and shot with it a couple of times. When I get a chance, I will provide some footage, or not some footage, I will provide some shots that I may have taken with this. But I want you to keep in mind that this might be good for portraits, landscapes, and also street photography, because it handles certain scenes or scenarios. Again, I want to reiterate, this lens was not created for photographers or videographers to keep up with fast action or for weddings, because you don't want to miss those important shots when you're shooting with this lens. Again, this is a manual lens. It will be wise to shoot with an autofocus lens versus using this particular lens. Choose your lenses wisely and accordingly to whatever scene, scenario, event, or whatever wherever you're at. Perhaps another question is, why would you get a manual lens instead of purchasing an autofocus lens? Again, the answer is everyone doesn't have a lot of money, but I try to find affordable alternatives and try to help you with information that you may or may not know. I will possibly be making a part 2 of this and maybe go a little bit deeper, maybe show some examples of photography or whatever, but I definitely just wanted to touch bases on this and see if this is something you're interested in. If it is, why don't you check out 1 or 2 of these videos? And if you already checked this out, I'll see you in the next one. Can't wait to see you. See you soon.